Well, one person is in the hospital after a crash on the Marcia Sharp freeway tonight. Officers were called to the crash underneath the I-27 flyover around 6:30 this evening. Lubbock Fire Rescue was also called to the scene to pull the victim from the vehicle. They were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. That's all the information police have released so far, but we'll keep you updated online and on air as we learn more.